Let's go live. Hello everyone, I am Sanjay Gupta. I welcome you on Sanjay Gupta Tech School. Today we are having day 6 of Salesforce OmniStudio Bootcamp, and today we are having this session little early. I have Abhishek with me. Welcome Abhishek on the channel. Today in this bootcamp series, we are going to continue Data Raptor. So, one tool of Data Raptor is pending. One feature we can say that is load. So far we have discussed like how to fetch the data, right, through turbo extract and extract, and through transform we saw like how we can modify the data in terms of key value, whatever you want to change, you want to add or filter something, right? But other than querying the data, if you want to perform insert, update, these kind of operation, these are like DML operations. Data Raptor load is equally important. Okay, so in today's session, Abhishek will tell you theoretical concept related to Data Raptor load. Along with that, he will demo how we can insert data, how we can update data, and how we can upsert the data, like both insert and update operation. But before starting the session, I just want Abhishek to introduce himself, because I know a few more folks may be joining the bootcamp for the first time. So, Abhishek, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Sanjay. So, hi everyone. I hope you all are doing well. So, myself, Abhishek, and I'm working as a Salesforce and Velocity developer in Salesforce community since 5+ years now. And I am a double star ranger on Trailhead, and I have done few certifications on Salesforce, which is as first one is like OmniStudio developer, and other than OmniStudio like CPQ specialist, Service Cloud, PD1, and administrator. And I have completed several projects on Velocity Industries and Omni Studios like health insurance, industries, CPQ, and telecommunication.
Okay, this is something great. So, moving forward, if you want to become part of a community where lots of freshers and experienced professionals are connected, so you can scan this QR code and you can become part of that group. Moving forward, if you want to receive all the timely notification, so you can follow Sanjay Gupta Tech School on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Telegram. And the session tracker link is available in the video's description. So Abhishek, next slide, please. Yep. Here you can see all the information is written. And next slide. We just hope like if you can share some reviews or feedback, so that will be great. And one more update I want to give you, like I just updated the session tracker. So now if you see the session tracker, so there is a link which will redirect you to the exercise sheet. So I have prepared day-wise Omni Studio exercise sheet, and whatever exercises or scenarios we were showing you in the slides, so those are available in a Word document now, right? So in that Word document, you will find day-wise exercises, and you can do some practice from there. So few examples Abhishek has already demoed in the session, and few examples you need to do at your own. And if you face any challenge, so you can raise your queries in the Telegram group. Okay, so with this note, let's start learning Data Raptor load.
Yeah. So thank you, Sanjay. So I'll just brief all of the concepts that we have seen so far on the data raptor topic. So we have seen how to extract or how to fetch the data from your databases with the help of data raptor turbo extract and extract. And we have seen if you want to do some modification onto your data, right? As we have seen in the last session, that if you are receiving some account information, and if you want to change the key part or the value part of that JSON, right, then we can use transformations, data raptor transformations. Another use case can be of data raptor transform if you want to trim down your data. So for example, from your data raptor extract, you are having 20 account fields, right? But in your IP or Omni script, OmniScript, you just want 5 fields for that account record, right? So what you can do is you can create an IP where you will be calling your data raptor extract, and from that data raptor extract, next you can call a data raptor transform. And in that data raptor transform, you just trim your data down with those 5 fields only. So this can be one of the example of data raptor transform. So, and in today's session, we're gonna see what is data raptor load, which is the last type of data raptor. So whenever we are working with Salesforce, right, we do in terms of databases, we do some sort of operations like fetching data, inserting data, updating data, or sometimes we upsert also, right? So for doing all the data manipulation, so I mean data raptor turbo extract and extract was the SQL query part where you are querying the data. But if you want to perform some DML operation, right, database manipulation, then you have to use the data raptor load. So data raptor load is nothing but if you want to insert, let's say, for example, if you want to insert some account records, if you want to update some account records, or if you want to upsert, right? So then in that case, we can use data raptor load, correct? So let's go to the next slide. And as we can see in the data raptor load, one of the example can be create an opportunity and using a formula to populate value into a custom field, or create an opportunity on an existing account, right? So these sort of examples we're gonna see in the action today. So if I go to the next slide, then we have some more examples of data raptor load, and we will be seeing one or two examples in today's session in a practical way. So, for example, like insert an account record, insert bulk account records. We can also update it, or we can also upsert the account records. So, as I can see, Sanjay, you have added some.
Yeah, so basically I just align this slide with India tricolor, and I just want to dedicate it to our Chandrayaan 3 because it is on moon now. So when I was creating this slide, Abhishek, so I just added that peach color, or like first one to insert, and then I realized like to have that tricolor because we have 4 example for insert, 4 for update, 4 for upsert. So it was going in that way. So I just had a thought and just applied.
Yeah.
And yeah, proud to be an Indian. So yeah, so sharing this knowledge across the globe. So I hope people from different countries are able to recognize us and our work as well. So they should be proud like Indians are doing lots of things.
Yeah, I mean that's a great concept, Sanjay. I mean, if this stream or this recording on YouTube, if anyone is watching outside India who is not from India, then they will be aware of like we are on moon now, and it's a great and proud moment for India. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, surely.
So we will go to our org now, and we will see all the data raptors in action. Data raptor load. So I will launch OmniStudio, and we will go to OmniStudio data raptor from here. And so first I'm just picking one example of inserting an account. Okay. So I'll click new, and for data raptor load. So there is a catch while you are creating the data raptor loads. The name of this data type of this data raptor is called as load, but when you are creating the data raptor load, right, it is called as data raptor post, right? So I mean, whatever data raptors you are creating, you will be using those data raptors into the IP or OmniScripts, right? So when you are when you will be using this data raptors into your IP, so this data raptor load comes as a data raptor post action into the IP or Omni script. So the interface type name is load, but we usually call it as data raptor post into the industries where we are working, right? So don't get confused with data raptor post and data raptor load. These both of the things are same. Okay. So we will call it DRP and let's say insert account records. Okay. And over here we can give the batch size as well as we can do in the Apex as well. And interface type is load and input type is JSON and output. Here you can see output type is S object, right? So, and in the previous examples of data raptor extract and data raptor turbo extract or transform, the output type was also JSON. But why there is output type is S object? Because if you want to insert or update or upsert any sort of records into your Salesforce domain, that can be only S object type. There is nothing else, no JSON, no XML, or no any custom data type. You can insert it into the S object only. That is why we have only one option called as S object, right? So I will click on save. Now we will first see all the tabs we have in the data raptor load. So first tab is data objects tab. So in data raptor extract, we had the first tab as extract tab, where you used to select the object name and what filter criteria or where clause you want to apply, right? It is similar to the data raptor extract. In the first step, you will be selecting the object, which object records you want to insert, right? So these objects can be multiple in the first step. Now, if you go to the next step, which is formula, which is similar to data raptor extract, turbo extract, and transform. And in the field step, we will be creating the mappings with the S object fields. So, for example, I want to insert an account with the name field gets populated, right? So we will be creating all the mappings in the fields tab, right? If I want to populate email on the account, that also we will be creating a mapping in the fields tab. Now, if I go to options, there are few options like ignore errors, rollback on error, use assignment rule, override target for null inputs, right? So all these things are self-explanatory, but I can explain it once again. So ignore error. So let's say any sort of error is coming. So for example, you are using this data raptor into some IP or Omni script, and this data raptor is getting failed. In that case, that IP will give you the error. But if you have clicked this checkbox, right, then that IP will not give you any sort of error, because it will. This is kind of a try catch. So whenever a error is coming, there will be no error. Like at the runtime, if you will not check this checkbox, right, then if this data raptor is getting failed, then it's a bad user experience. That user is seeing that some error is coming. That is why we have this checkbox. Rollback on error means, let's say if you are inserting 100 records, then on the 99th record there is some error came. So we want to roll back all the changes. Then we can check this checkbox. Use assignment rules. If you have created some sort of assignment rules on the object, then you can check this checkbox and override target for null inputs. So, for example, if you are receiving, let's say in the name field you are inserting an account record, and in the name field you are having no value, right? Then it will override the target for all null values. That means that name field will not give you any sort of error when you are receiving the null value in it. Okay. And if I go to preview tab, it's same. From here we will be giving the test input. By clicking execute, we will be getting the output. So now we're gonna see how to insert an account record in action.
Yeah, so maybe first we can add or we can create one account record, and then we can just simply create bulk records so that both the examples can be demoed.
Yeah, definitely. So let me just close it once. Yeah. Now if I click on add object, you will just simply say, sorry, I want to insert the account record. Okay. So for now, we will not do anything in the formulas tab. And now if I go to fields, right? So as you can see, there is one sub tab already created with the account object. So whenever you are adding any sort of any object in the objects tab, for the same there will be a sub tab created under the field. Okay. Now if I click plus icon and let's say I will receive my account name into the name param. Okay. And what we're gonna say is map it with the name field. We will see all these options later on, but first we will go with the simple example. And this name param, from where we will be getting? We will be getting it from here. Okay. So we're gonna say, let's say name, sorry, it should be name param and as just as GTS account. Okay. And if I click execute, as you can see, there is one account has been inserted. And there is one more benefit of using this data raptor load. In the output, you will get all the record IDs which is getting affected with this data raptor. Okay. So right now we have inserted only one account. So we are receiving one account information or the one account record ID. And if I click on this, it will redirect to me to me on that account record. So as you can see, this name field has been already populated and other fields are blank. Right?
Yep, I think this was very simple.
Correct. Okay. Now, what we're gonna do is
So
we will
maybe
be seeing some. Yeah.
Abhishek, maybe if we can focus more on that fields option once again.
Yeah. I was about to go on there.
Yeah, so here this domain object field is very much important because I think it is API of that particular field with which we want to map the input parameter.
Correct. So, for example, I'm gonna insert one more account, which for let's say I want to populate the active as well. Okay. So, if you see the domain object fields, you will be receiving all the fields that you have created on your account.
Right.
Okay. So then, so now what I want to do is I just want to populate one more field which is called as active. So I'm gonna say active name, and from where we will be getting this active name from the again the preview and input parameters. But now let's say now we will see what these other things are on the field mappings. So output data type, it is similar to data raptor extract and data raptor extract. If let's say your active name is in the form of string, but your domain name field is a boolean, right? So then we can set the default output part, which can be boolean, currency rounded, and all these things. And for example, let's say if nothing is coming in the active name from the data raptor test parameter, then we can give a default value. It is pretty much similar as data raptor extract, right? Is disabled is self-explanatory if I want to disable this mapping. And now here we have three things. Upsert key is required for upsert and is lookup. Okay. So if I check this checkbox, right, then it will say whenever I'm inserting this account record, right, it will upsert, it will not insert, it will upsert. So what do I mean by that? Wherever, okay, so that's a bad example for using the upsert key. I'm gonna go to the name again. So let's say I want to I want to insert or update my account record. So for example, if I executed once again, right, then there will be another account record of SGTS account will get created, right? But if I go to name and if I click this checkbox, then there will be no new account record will get created with the same name. Okay, because whenever this data raptor will get executed, it will first check whether do I have one account record with SGTS account name or not. If I have one record, then it will simply update it. If I do not have, then it will insert it. Okay.
Okay.
And if I check this checkbox is required for upsert, then then this field will always be required. I mean,
Okay.
if I'm making any sort of any mapping as upsert, okay, I'll go to active again, and if I do this, and if I'm not checking this checkbox, then if I'm not passing an active name, then this data raptor will not get failed. But if I'm checking this checkbox, okay, I don't know, there is some UI bug here. Okay, so we'll take the name example only. So if I'm not, for example, if I'm not passing the name param, then this data raptor will get failed. So this checkbox says if you want to use this mapping as a upsert key, and if you want to make it required for upsert, then you can check this checkbox.
So in that case, in JSON, name param should be having some value for each
Exactly.
record.
Yeah. If we will not be having the value, then this will get failed.
Right.
And is lookup we will come on this option later on, because this will be a bit complex logic around it. So we will come later on it. Now and this transform map values is the same as data raptor extract. Like if I'm receiving, let's say if I'm receiving, I'll do this. If I'm receiving as an input for active name as an input, I'm receiving a Y, then I want to insert yes. And if I'm receiving N, then I want to insert no. Okay. So now if I go to preview, okay. So first what I'm gonna do is, I don't have this name as an upsert key, right? I'll go to preview, and I'll add one more mapping here, which will say active param, and I'm gonna say Y. So your account record suppose yes and no value, but I'm passing the Y and N value, and all the transformations will be done from here. If you are entering Y, then it will become yes. If you are entering N, then it will become no.
And one more thing, like if we are passing yes, then what will happen?
Then nothing will happen. I mean,
it will be as is.
Yeah, it will be as is.
Only in case of Y and N, it will be transformed. Otherwise, whatever we have provided there as active value, it will go to the record.
No, in that case, there will be null value will be good, because there is no mapping for yes.
Okay, so from input, if we are passing YES, so
yeah,
that won't be stored. Null will be stored.
That won't be stored.
Okay,
no.
Okay.
Because we have created a transform map values, and we don't have mapping for yes.
Okay.
We have mapping only for Y.
So if we pass Y and then yes or no will be stored, otherwise null will be stored.
Null will be stored, correct.
Okay, got it.
So I will go here and will hit the, let's say SGTS account new, and I'm gonna click execute. And if I go to this account, as you can say, we have this SGTS account new, and if I go to active field, okay, nothing here. It should be Y or N. Active param is this the same?
Actually, that is active name you
provided
in
that
the
is what.
Yeah, so
Correct. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create one more account and
So
click
naming,
execute.
guys, naming convention is very much important. So always make sure, uh, because it happens, it is a common mistake that we do. So
Correct.
always try to copy whatever you have created.
Right. Now if I go back here and like account name is SGTS account new one and the active
Yeah.
is set as this.
Right. Now it is working fine.
Correct. Now we will see the example of upsell. So what I'm gonna do is I will click on this and I'll make this name field as upsell key. Okay. So now what will happen? And I'm gonna change the Y to N. Okay. So in that case, there should be no new account should get created, but this SGTS account new one should get updated.
So active
Okay.
should be no.
Correct. And if I go to execute, and I will not click this one right now. I'll go to the account record which is already open for me, and I'm gonna refresh this page. And if I refresh it, go to details. As you can see, the active is updated with the no value.
Right.
Right. And for just verification purpose, if I go to account list view, and you can see there is only one account with the SGTS account new one.
Right.
Correct. So in that case, what happened? We created this name param as a upsert key. So first, data raptor goes into the database and sees whether we have account with the same name or not. If we have, then it will insert. Then it will update. Otherwise, it will insert. So, I mean, like if I do this SGTS account new 2, then in that case, it will insert it. So let me just refresh this one and see,
Yeah.
we have a new
This
account.
is created. Yeah.
And there is one more thing to catch over here in the case of upsert. Whenever we have made some sort any mapping as a upsert key, in the debug logs you can see there is this data raptor is running a query for fetching the existing account. Right? Like if I execute it again, it will say I have got one record.
Yeah, that's why this ID is populated here. Like this
Correct.
particular
Correct.
object is created. Okay.
So like if I do not make this as upsert key, right, then it will not execute any sort of SQL query. See here, because this data raptor is not looking into the database now.
Okay.
For upserting the records.
Okay. So it is directly inserting. In case of upsert, it is checking. That's why it is querying the data. Okay.
Exactly. Right. Now, if I go back to the PPT, so we have seen the insert an account record and update an account record and upsert an account record. We have seen, okay, we haven't checked the update account record. We have seen the insert and upsert, right? So now I will clone this data raptor and we will create a update case. Sorry. We will call it as update. And okay. Now if I go to fields and yeah. So what we're gonna do is for updating it, we're gonna give one more mapping called as, let's say, ID param. We have to pass the ID because without ID you cannot update any sort of record if you are not using the upsert key feature, right? So I'm gonna do this. Go to preview and ID colon. What did I say? ID param. ID param, and I'm gonna give the ID. So if I go to any account record, let's say go to this SGTS account new 2, and I'm gonna pick the ID. I'll go back on the data raptor, and I'm gonna pass the ID. Okay, and I'll say make it as Y. And if I click execute, now in that case, data raptor will not execute any sort of SQL query to look into the database, because we have passed the ID as a mapping, right? And if I go to the record as well, right, it will, the yes, no value becomes yes, right? So this is one of the example for getting the ID for updating any sort of records.
So for update, we need to use ID.
Yeah, I mean without ID you cannot update the records.
Exactly. Yep.
Still you can use the upsert key, because I mean whenever you are updating any sort of records, we always try to use the upsert keys, because this is not a good practice to pass a ID field as a param.
Right.
Okay. Now we're gonna see another example where we will, okay, I'll go back to the slides, where we will say, create an account record with its related contact. Okay. So, I mean, for seeing this example, what can be one of the difficulty that I can think of is, let's say you are inserting an account record. Now you are inserting a contact record, but how you will link the contact record with the account record, right? So we're gonna see how in the data raptor load we can do this part for linking the objects as well.
And before jumping to that, if I ask one question, like for bulk insertion, data raptor will be same. We just need to modify the JSON, right?
Yeah, exactly. Over here, what you have to do is, you will be, I think, creating a accounts. You can see that example as well, no problem.
Yeah, that's why I just want to have this first.
Yeah. Okay, so we have this. Then we're gonna have one more. Okay. So, I mean, now what is happening is, we have an account list where this is your first record. If I copy this,
yeah, inside this we can have one more comma separated, and we can have any number of records here.
Any number of records. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just remove this ID param, because for new accounts we will not be having any sort of ID. So let's just remove it. Oh, my bad. Okay. So we have SGTS new, let's say bulk, and SGTS
bulk
new
1, bulk 2.
Bulk 2.
Yep.
I'm sorry, 1. And what we're gonna do is in the field mapping, I'm just gonna disable it for the ID mapping. And I'll go to preview, and if I click execute, oh, I think there is some. So what happened now? Now what we have is we have all the records, all the params into the account node. Yeah. Account colon name param, account colon name active param. So we have to add this node also into our input parameter.
So it should be account colon active param, something like
Correct.
that.
Correct. That is why that data raptor didn't execute it. Add this one. If I go to preview again and click execute, as we can see, we have 2 account records.
Perfect.
Right. So this is how you can, like if I go to account list view and refresh it, we have this account bulk 2, account bulk 1.
Right, and similar to insert, like we can do update, upsert. That was same. Like whatever we did for one record, it will be same for bulk. So I think we can
Correct.
leave it for practice. So
Yeah,
now we can demo the related thing.
correct. Okay. So I'm gonna go. So what example we're gonna see now is if I want to insert a account record, and in the same data vector, if I'm inserting the contact record, so how we can link those records? I mean, how we can populate account ID on the contact record. So let's create a new data vector. DRP insert insert account with contact.
So before
Boot.
moving to that, Abhishek, we have one question related to update. So someone is asking, uh, for update we require ID param. So instead of exposing ID, is there any way to get into it in our data raptor, like instead of hard coding it?
I didn't get you, Sanjay.
So
Exactly.
when we implemented update data raptor, so in that update data raptor we provided ID in JSON, right? So Harsh is asking, is there any way like we can without exposing that ID we can get that ID?
Yeah, there is a way of doing it. So let me go to let me go there, and so just forget this data raptor for now. I'm gonna go back to, let's say, update account.
And I
Okay.
think in real time it will be coming from IP.
Yeah, in real time the ID will be coming from the IP,
Hmm.
but it's good that Harsh has asked this question because I forgot to explain this is lookup thing,
Okay, okay.
right? So what we're gonna do is when I click this is lookup, okay, as you can see there are three new fields are coming, right? So what it will do is um, I'm gonna use this account colon name param. So you can think of it like this. In this mapping, we will be having this one SJTS account new bulk one, right? We will be having this value, correct? And we have clicked this is lookup. Now it will ask what object you want to look. So we will say account object. Now, we will say account object. What field you want to look? So what we are passing in the name param? The record name. So I'm gonna say name field, right? And what value you want to get it from that query is ID. I'll reiterate this. So in your name param, you will be receiving your account name, record name, right? Now you are not passing the ID value, or now you don't want to expose your ID into your input parameter, right? But you still want to get that ID. So you will be having your name parameter. You will click this is lookup, and you will say what object you want to look, what field you want to look in, and after you are getting that record, what field you want to get. So you can think of it this one like this: select ID from account where name is equals to this name param.
Right, exactly. Understandable.
Correct?
Yep.
And whatever field you are getting from this field will get mapped with your domain name of domain object field,
Okay.
right? So by this, what you have done is you have not exposed your ID into your data raptor input parameter, but still you are getting the ID and you are inserting your updating your records.
Okay, so you mean to say in JSON, if we don't pass ID and that value, still that will be internally having the ID.
Correct.
We just need to create this mapping only.
Right. So
Perfect.
now if I go to preview, right, and if I change this one to N for both of the accounts, okay, and if
So
I click execute,
they will update.
they will get update. And as you can see into your debug logs, it says select name ID from account where name is equals to SGTS account new bulk 1 or new
Or
bulk 2.
Right.
And now if I go to the account records, so this bulk 2
It
will
will
be
be
having
having no. Yep.
no value, right?
Yeah.
So this is how it works. So now I'm not passing any sort of ID value into my parameters, but still I am getting my ID from this sort of mapping.
So if we do this, so it is for both insert as well as update, right?
It's kind of a absurd.
Upsert, yeah. So we have two options for upsert. One is this upsert key, and
Yeah,
another is this is lookup,
correct.
right?
Okay. So I mean this is lookup is bit tricky, but once you will be having the practical exposure around it, that will be very easy. Now we will see the last. Now we will see the insert account with contact records. So we will do the similar thing. We'll select the account, and I'll go to the fields. I'll create one mapping for it. Let's say I will give the name param, and I'll map it with the name. Okay. In the objects again, I'll go to the add object and I'll say contact because I want to insert contact as well. And if I go to fields, see there is one subtab created for contact. And as far as I remember, for contact, last name is required field.
Yes.
So I'm gonna say last name param and I'll map it with last name. Okay. Now if I go to preview and I have to pass both the things, last name param, let's call it as Sanjay, and another param is, we will say name param. This is for account name.
Okay,
And
so
we're gonna say
one account record and one contact record, and both will be related, right?
Right now these both will not be related,
Okay.
but we will do something so now if I click execute, I have got my account, I have got my contact, but if I go to this contact, right, I don't have any account populated on it.
Right, so both are independent, yeah.
Both are independent right now. Now the question arises, when I'm creating the mapping for this account record and when I'm creating the mapping for this contact record. Let's say I can create a mapping for account ID, but what to pass into input JSON? Because I don't, whatever record which is getting inserted over here, I don't have ID of that account.
So
right. So what we can do is, so there is a feature that Data Raptor load provides. If I go to objects, there is one more button which is called as add link. Okay, and if I click on this add link, so it will ask what domain field you want to populate. I will say account ID. What linked object you want to pass. So as you can see in the first step, I have account 1-account. I will see this.
Right.
And what field of this account you want to pass? I will say ID. So whenever an account will get created from this account, from this first step, and when the second step will get executed, it will automatically map this inserted account value to this contact account ID.
Okay.
And let's go to the fields and the contacts. See, there is already one mapping created by the Data Raptor.
Perfect.
Right. And now
if you go to that mapping, so one checkbox is there is linked automatically.
Yeah. So this is there, and now if I go to preview and click execute, and if I open the contact, see there, this account is getting populated.
Yep.
So this account and contact now linked with each other.
Perfect.
Okay, so let me go to slides again.
Yeah, I think we
So
covered almost everything.
yeah, yeah. So I think other examples folks can perform by their end, and if they have any sort of doubt, they can reach out to us.
Yep, guys. So total 12 examples are there, and I think more than 50% Abhishek already demoed. Other way around, right? So you just need to watch this recording once again, maybe if you have any doubt, any kind of doubt in any of the example, and just try to implement each of the example one by one, right? In any order. So you can first insert an account, then you can update an account or upsert an account, or maybe insert an account, then you can just insert bulk account record. So either way you can go, but do practice. And this is end of data raptor sessions. So for OmniStudio, as of now we have completed one tool. Now from next week onwards we will be jumping onto the another tool. So right now what we were doing, we were providing some inputs from our end into data raptor, but now the data raptors which we have created, we'll try to use those data raptor with IP, and you will see input will be coming from IP, and then data raptor will be doing some operation like fetching data or updating something, updating some record, inserting some record, and then that I think Abhishek, that result we can pass back to IP again, right? Yeah.
Correct.
So IP can provide some input and IP can receive output as well through data raptor.
Yeah.
Yep, and those sessions you will only understand if you complete all these 6 sessions, whichever delivered so far. Okay, so with this note, we take your leave. Thank you, Abhishek, for delivering the content. And thank you, everyone, those who joined live and those who are watching the recording. Um, Thank you to as well, you as well. And please find this exercise sheet link in the session tracker so that it will be easy for you to follow all the sessions recording, as well as exercises are available there. So do practice. And if you have any problems, just reach out to our Telegram group. Okay, thank you everyone. See you next week.